Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to unpack what is honestly one of the absolute most critical decisions you'll make as a digital entrepreneur, choosing your e-commerce architecture. We're talking Shopify and its leading alternatives. I know firsthand, when you're looking to launch or scale an online store, the sheer volume of info out there, it's totally overwhelming, like drinking from a fire hose. But hey, don't worry. We're going to break it all down step by step so you can figure out exactly what platform actually aligns with your goals. So let me ask you a question, and this might hit a little close to home. Are you currently stuck in the classic Shopify versus literally everyone else debate? If you spent any time scrolling through forums or watching tutorials, you're probably totally paralyzed by the sheer number of choices and the wildly conflicting advice out there. I mean, one person says you absolutely must use Shopify, and the next person insists you're just throwing money down the drain if you don't build an open source site. It's enough to make you want to just put off launching your store entirely, right?
Well, here's what I really want you to take away right from the jump. If we just strip away all the internet hype for a second, this debate isn't actually about which tool is universally better. It's a complete myth that there's one perfect platform out there for everyone. Instead, it's 100% about business fit. It all comes down to your specific business model, your budget, and, crucially, your technical comfort level. So we're going to focus on finding the right fit for you, rather than chasing some mythical universal winner.
All right, here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, the e-commerce platform myth. Second, Shopify, the convenience engine. Third, WooCommerce, the control center. Fourth, we'll look at the hidden costs of free. Fifth, alternatives for different needs. And finally, making your actual choice.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the e-commerce platform myth.
Before we even think about comparing features and pricing, we've got to cut through the marketing jargon. To make a smart choice for your store, you absolutely need to understand a core architectural difference that splits this whole market into two main camps. We're talking fully hosted versus self-hosted. This is the big tension anchoring our whole explainer today. A fully hosted solution basically means the platform provider manages the servers, the security patches, the technical maintenance, the whole shebang. You don't have to worry about the back end at all. A self-hosted platform, though, that gives you complete, unrestricted control over your site's code. But it means you are on the hook for the manual technical management. So it's essentially a choice between maximum convenience and maximum control.
Which brings us to Section 2, Shopify, the convenience engine.
Think of Shopify kind of like moving into a fully furnished, high-end apartment. The building management handles the plumbing, the electricity, the security desk out front. All you really got to do is arrange your furniture and invite people over. Because of this setup, Shopify has built a massive reputation on simplicity and speed. For beginners or honestly just entrepreneurs who want to launch fast, the perks are huge. The dashboard is super clean and intuitive, literally designed for non-technical folks. Your inventory management and tracking, perfectly streamlined right out of the box. Plus, unlike some generic website builders, Shopify is built specifically for e-commerce, meaning it scales beautifully as your sales blow up. And maybe best of all, they handle the speed optimization and security for you. You don't have to stress about your site crashing during a huge traffic spike or getting hacked because you forgot to update some random plugin. Oh, and if things do go sideways, you've got 24/7 centralized customer support right there.
But, convenience always comes at a price. Let's look at the trade-offs of Shopify's controlled ecosystem. Shopify runs on a subscription model, and you are going to pay transaction fees unless you use their native system, Shopify Payments. Now, Shopify Payments integrate seamlessly, sure, but it is a closed system. Also, let's talk about the Shopify App Store. It is massive, and it's a huge strength, letting you add tools for SEO, dropshipping, marketing with just a click. But it's also kind of a potential weakness. Why? Because most of those apps come with their own extra monthly fees. So your nice, straightforward base subscription can inflate pretty quickly as you start bolting on more bells and whistles.
All right, moving to Section 3, WooCommerce, the control center.
So if Shopify is renting that luxury apartment, WooCommerce, which by the way runs on WordPress, is basically like buying an empty plot of dirt and building your own house from the ground up. You can design it exactly how you want, add as many rooms as you like, but guess what? You are the one pouring the foundation and fixing the roof when it inevitably leaks. We are looking at two totally different philosophies here. Shopify is that controlled ecosystem. You work within their approved systems, and deep changes require their proprietary setup. WooCommerce, on the other hand, gives you open source freedom. I mean, near unlimited customization. You can tweak the core code, build totally custom features, integrate literally anything you can imagine.
But, and this is a really big but, that freedom comes with some heavy lifting. You have to secure your own web hosting, install plugins, manually run software updates, and be 100% responsible for your site security and performance. And let me tell you, a poorly configured WooCommerce site will definitely be slow and unreliable.
So, you might be wondering, why on earth do so many people willingly take on all that extra work? Well, a massive reason is search engine optimization, or SEO. Because WooCommerce is built on WordPress, which is literally the world's most popular content management system, it gives you a slight edge in SEO. Now, to be fair, Shopify has gotten way better at this and covers the basics really well. But WooCommerce, it lets you do some incredibly fine-tuned optimization using heavy-hitting plugins like Yoast SEO or Rank Math. If you're willing to learn the ropes, you can control every single technical detail of how Google sees your site.
Okay, let's transition to Section 4, the hidden costs of free.
Time for a quick financial reality check. At first glance, a lot of folks look at WooCommerce, see that the software itself is technically free to download, and just assume it's way cheaper than Shopify's monthly subscription. But honestly, looking just at the software cost is a huge mistake. Think of WooCommerce like an iceberg. The free software, that's just the tip. Beneath the surface are all the hidden expenses you actually need to run a functioning store. With WooCommerce, you still have to pay for high-quality web hosting. You'll probably want to buy premium themes. You will absolutely end up paying for premium plugins. And crucially, because there's no centralized 24/7 support line to call, you might end up paying a developer hundreds of dollars an hour if your site crashes. Compare that to Shopify's predictable expenses. Yes, you have a monthly bill and paid apps, but your hosting, your security, and that 24/7 support, that's all baked right in. Now, if you're on a super tight budget and you're willing to put in the technical sweat equity, WooCommerce can definitely be cheaper in the long run. But for a lot of business owners, Shopify's predictability just makes budgeting so much easier.
Next up, Section 5, Alternatives for Different Needs.
But what if neither the convenience engine nor the control center really feels like your vibe? The e-commerce market is way bigger than just Shopify and WooCommerce, so let's check out a few other major players on the spectrum. Over on one end, we've got Wix and Squarespace. These guys are hyper-focused on design and ease of use. If you're a creative, an artist, or you just have a smaller store with a few products, these platforms often give you the most visually polished templates right out of the box. But their main limitation is they can feel pretty restrictive as your inventory scales up. They just don't pack that deep e-commerce punch that Shopify does. Then, kind of sitting in the middle, we have BigCommerce. BigCommerce is awesome if you want a ton of built-in features without relying too much on an app store. It scales wonderfully, but it doesn't give you quite the absolute, unbridled coding freedom of an open-source platform like WooCommerce.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, making your final choice.
So, with all that information on the table, how do you actually make the call? To help you cut through the noise, I want you to ask yourself 4 specific questions. Number 1, assess your technical comfort level. Are you honestly willing to manage updates and security, or do you just want a hassle-free experience so you can focus entirely on selling? Number 2, define your budget tolerance for those hidden costs. Do you need a nice, predictable monthly bill, or are you okay with variable costs if it means more freedom? Number 3, prioritize design ease versus long-term scalability. Are you selling a few batches of handmade candles, or are you gearing up to manage a massive international inventory? And number 4, and actually this is probably the most important one, choose for your current reality, not a future goal. Pick the platform that fits the skills, the time, and the budget you have today, not the giant enterprise you're hoping to build 5 years down the line.
I want to end today's explainer with a really powerful thought straight from our source material. In e-commerce, execution matters far more than the platform you choose. I love that. Basically, stop spending weeks agonizing over finding the perfect platform, because spoiler alert, it doesn't exist. Just pick the tool that fits your reality right now, stop debating, and start building. At the end of the day, your customers care about your products and your service, not whether your backend runs on Ruby on Rails or PHP. So what will your first step be today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.